Times Group is today India's biggest media conglomerate, with a 360-degree presence in the world of media and reporting. An integral part of that great legacy, ET Edge, is the conference platform of the Economic Times. It is an initiative that has been taken to create knowledge platforms across multiple industries that would connect, engage, and empower businesses.
The ET Edge Summit is an extraordinary idea. I think it is the need of the hour. I think that this idea of talking about how to build our future is the mandate of our Prime Minister.
The basis of effective and result-oriented interaction is connecting the right people at the right time and at the right place. ET Edge provides the ideal platform for interaction and exchange of knowledge. These platforms not only serve as meeting grounds for the industry, but they also become highly motivational for the delegates and young minds.
India is a $2 trillion economy today. Can we not dream of an India with a $20 trillion economy?
By engaging minds through carefully researched modes of summits and conferences, ET Edge creates an ideal social and business ecology for the industry. To ensure that these platforms are unrivaled hubs for seeking information in the vertical they cater to, agendas for each conference are designed after extensive market research.
For smart city concept to first of all succeed, there is a need for change of mindset.
Our business is our people and people are our business. And that's really what leadership at Eureka Forbes is all about.
ET Edge engages itself to ensure that the forums would ensure senior decision makers are equipped with information to respond to challenges they face, not just in India, but also globally.
We could become the workhorse of the world, the manufacturing hub of the world, the people supplier of the world, the human resources supplier of the world at all levels.
Till today, through its summits and conferences, ET Edge has empowered industries across various sectors. The partners associated with ET Edge have a strong standing within the industries as well. With 80+ summits, 270+ ministers, 1,600+ speakers, 12,000+ delegates, 1,000+ associates and partners, ET Edge today has become the #1 meeting ground for the industry.
And India has a huge talent pool and gives us ideas, new thoughts, new possible solutions to issues that we are grappling with.
I think the delta to be made in India versus China is just extremely significant, and that's why people are coming here.
It is time for, I think, the developers lobby to come together and really push the government for a quantum change.
And the challenge is not only growth, the challenge is how do we manage this growth.
A great brand is not defined by any one thing that a company does, but it's actually a summation of all the various things that a company does.
The future of this country depends on our ability to enhance the power of human mind.
Swami Vivekananda had said, arise, awake, do not stop until the goal has been attained.
Plus cable, power of quality and reliability. Having a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in Fujairah, United Arab Emirates, and one of the leading manufacturers of electrical cables in the region, a joint venture between the government of Fujairah and Raveen Cables Limited, India. under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Mohammed Al Sharqi, member of the UAE Supreme Council and the ruler of Fujairah. Under the chairmanship of His Highness Sheikh Maktoum bin Hamad bin Mohammed Al Sharqi and Mr. Vijay B. Karia, the chairman of Raveen Group of Companies. The dynamic board consists of highly qualified and experienced professionals. The modern manufacturing facilities spread over a wide area in the pictorial background of the Hajar Mountains, capable of manufacturing cables up to 220 kilovolts. The highly passionate and skilled workforce, managers, and quality control system ensure outstanding quality and consistency that meets international specifications and standards. The product range includes medium voltage cables, low voltage cables, instrumentation cables, LSF or LSZH cables, control cables, flexible cables, wiring cables, bare conductors, and many more. The ISO 9001-2008 and Emirates Quality Mark certified plant is approved by all leading utilities and consultants in the region, and the entire range of cables type tested by the world's best HEMA independent laboratory in Netherlands. The cables manufactured by Power Plus Cable in Fujairah are exported to more than 40 countries around the world. And being a local manufacturer of UAE, the company is entitled for duty-free access to more than 18 countries in the Middle East and North Africa. Also, Power Plus Cable is represented in top-rated exhibitions worldwide. A proud supplier of cables to a wide range of projects, creating a highly satisfied customer base. Simple or complex, we can meet any demand, and we are committed to serving our customers with the power of quality and reliability.
Experience Malindo Air with comfort and luxury. Enjoy our latest in-flight movies and games. Stay connected with the onboard Wi-Fi and power up your laptop for business usage. Indulge yourself in a delicious meal served by our friendly cabin crew. Enjoy spacious legroom and a world of in-flight games and latest movies. Stay connected with our dedicated USB port to connect your electronic device. Malindo Air, smarter way to travel.
With a legacy of over 175 years, the Times Group is today India's biggest media conglomerate, with a 360-degree presence in the world of media and reporting. An integral part of that great legacy, EDH, is the conference platform of the Economic Times. It is an initiative that has been taken to create knowledge platforms across multiple industries that would connect, engage, and empower businesses.
The EDH Summit is an extraordinary idea. I think it is the need of the hour. I think this idea of talking about how to build our future is the mandate of our Prime Minister.
The basis of effective and result-oriented interaction is connecting the right people at the right time and at the right place. EDH provides the ideal platform for interaction and exchange of knowledge. These platforms not only serve as meeting grounds for the industry, but they also become highly motivational for the delegates and young minds.
India
Test.
is a $2 trillion economy today. Can we not dream of an India with a $20 trillion economy?
By engaging minds through carefully researched modes of summits and conferences, ET Edge creates an ideal social and business ecology for the industry. To ensure that these platforms are unrivaled hubs for seeking information in the vertical they cater to, agendas for each conference are designed after extensive market research.
For smart city concept to first of all succeed, there is a need for change of mindset.
Our business is our people and people are our business. And that's really what leadership at Eureka Forbes is all about.
ET Edge engages itself to ensure that the forums would ensure senior decision makers are equipped with information to respond to challenges they face, not just in India, but also globally.
We could become the workhorse of the world, the manufacturing hub of the world, the people supplier of the world, the human resources supplier of the world at all levels.
Check. Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. It's nice to see all of you here today. As you may be expecting, we're about to begin, so I'd like to urge you to wrap up your conversations outside and kindly make way to your seats. Get comfortable. Perhaps bring in a cup of coffee or tea as we settle down to begin tonight's wonderful event. Thank you.
12,000 plus delegates, 1,000 plus associates and partners. ET Edge today has become the #1 meeting ground for the industry.
And India has a huge talent pool and gives us ideas, new thoughts, new possible solutions to issues that we are grappling with.
I think the delta to be made in India versus China is just extremely significant, and that's why people are coming here.
It is time for, I think, the developers lobby to come together and really push the government for a quantum change.
And the challenge is not only growth, the challenge is how do we manage this growth.
A great brand is not defined by any one thing that a company does, but it's actually a summation of all the various things that a company does.
The future of this country depends on our ability to enhance the power of human mind.
Swami Vivekananda had said, arise, awake, do not stop until the goal has been attained.
Cable, power of quality and reliability. Having a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in Fujairah, United Arab Emirates, and one of the leading manufacturers of electrical cables in the region, a joint venture between the government of Fujairah and Raveen Cables Limited, India. Under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Mohammed Al Sharqi, member of the UAE Supreme Council and the ruler of Fujairah. Under the chairmanship of His Highness Sheikh Maktoum bin Hamad bin Mohammed Al Sharqi and Mr. Vijay B. Karia, the chairman of Raveen Group of Companies. The dynamic board consists of highly qualified and experienced professionals. The modern manufacturing facilities spread over a wide area in the pictorial background of the Hajar Mountains, capable of manufacturing cables up to 220 kilovolts. The highly passionate and skilled workforce, managers, and quality control system ensure outstanding quality and consistency that meets international specifications and standards. The product range includes medium voltage cables, low voltage cables, instrumentation cables, LSF or LSZH cables, control cables, flexible cables, wiring cables, bare conductors, and many more. The ISO 9001-2008 and Emirates Quality Mark certified plant is approved by all leading utilities and consultants in the region, and the entire range of cables type tested by the world's best HEMA independent laboratory in Netherlands. The cables manufactured by Power Plus Cable in Fujairah are exported to more than 40 countries around the world. And being a local manufacturer of UAE, the company is entitled for duty-free access to more than 18 countries in the Middle East and North Africa. Also, Power Plus Cable is represented in top-rated exhibitions worldwide. A proud supplier of cables to a wide range of projects, creating a highly satisfied customer base. Simple or complex, we can meet any demand, and we are committed to serving our customers with the power of quality and reliability.
Experience Malindo Air with comfort and luxury. Enjoy our latest in-flight movies and games. Stay connected with the onboard Wi-Fi and power up your laptop for business usage. Indulge yourself in a delicious meal served by our friendly cabin crew. Enjoy spacious legroom and a world of Experience Malindo Air with comfort and luxury. Enjoy our latest in-flight movies and games. Stay connected with the onboard Wi-Fi and power up your laptop for business usage. Indulge yourself in a delicious meal served by our friendly cabin crew. Enjoy spacious legroom and a world of in-flight games and latest movies. Stay connected with our dedicated USB port to connect your electronic device. Malindo Air, smarter way to travel.
With a legacy of over 175 years, the Times Group is today India's biggest media conglomerate, with a 360-degree presence in the world of media and reporting. An integral part of that great legacy, ET Edge, is the conference platform of the Economic Times. It is an initiative that has been taken to create knowledge platforms across multiple industries that would connect, engage, and empower businesses.
The ET Edge Summit is an extraordinary idea. I think it is the need of the hour. I think this idea of talking about how to build our future is the mandate of our Prime Minister.
The basis of effective and result-oriented interaction is connecting the right people at the right time and at the right place. ET Edge provides the ideal platform for interaction and exchange of knowledge. These platforms not only serve as meeting grounds for the industry, but they also become highly motivational for the delegates and young minds.
India is a $2 trillion economy today. Can we not dream of an India with a $20 trillion economy?
By engaging minds through carefully researched modes of summits and conferences, ET Edge creates an ideal social and business ecology for the industry. To ensure that these platforms are unrivaled hubs for seeking information in the vertical they cater to, agendas for each conference are designed after extensive market research.
For smart city concept to first of all succeed, there is a need for change of mindset.
Our business is our people and people are our business. And that's really what leadership at Eureka Forbes is all about.
ET Edge engages itself to ensure that the forums would ensure senior decision makers are equipped with information to respond to challenges they face, not just in India, but also globally.
We could become the workhorse of the world, the manufacturing hub of the world, the people supplier of the world, the human resources supplier of the world at all levels.
Till today, through its summits and conferences, ET Edge has empowered industries across various sectors. The partners associated with ET Edge have a strong standing within the industries as well. With 80 plus summits, 270 plus ministers, 1600 plus speakers, 12,000 plus delegates, 1,000 plus associates and partners, ET Edge today has become the #1 meeting ground for the industry.
And India has a huge talent pool and gives us ideas, new thoughts, new possible solutions to issues that we are grappling with.
I think the delta to be made in India versus China is just extremely significant, and that's why people are coming here.
It is time for, I think, the developers lobby to come together and really push the government for a quantum change.
And the challenge is not only growth, the challenge is how do we manage this growth.
A great brand is not defined by any one thing that a company does, but it's actually a summation of all the various things that a company does.
The future of this country depends on our ability to enhance the power of human mind.
Swami Vivekananda had said, arise, awake, do not stop until the goal has been attained.
Cable, power of quality and reliability. Having a state-of-the-art manufacturing facility in Fujairah, United Arab Emirates, and one of the leading manufacturers of electrical cables in the region, a joint venture between the government of Fujairah and Raveen Cables Limited, India. Under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Hamad bin Mohammed Al Sharqi, member of the UAE Supreme Council and the ruler of Fujairah. Under the chairmanship of His Highness Sheikh Maktoum bin Hamad bin Mohammed Al Sharqi and Mr. Vijay B. Karia, the chairman of Raveen Group of Companies. The dynamic board consists of highly qualified and experienced professionals. The modern manufacturing facilities spread over a wide area in the pictorial background of the Hajar Mountains, capable of manufacturing cables up to 220 kilovolts. The highly passionate and skilled workforce, managers, and quality control system ensure outstanding quality and consistency that meets international specifications and standards. The product range includes medium voltage cables, low voltage cables, instrumentation cables, LSF or LSZH cables, control cables, flexible cables, wiring cables, bare conductors, and many more. The ISO 9001-2008 and Emirates Quality Mark certified plant is approved by all leading utilities and consultants in the region, and the entire range of cables type tested by the world's best HEMA independent laboratory in Netherlands. The cables manufactured by Power Plus Cable in Fujairah are exported to more than 40 countries around the world. And being a local manufacturer of UAE, the company is entitled for duty-free access to more than 18 countries in the Middle East and North Africa. Also, Power Plus Cable is represented in top-rated exhibitions worldwide. A proud supplier of cables to a wide range of projects, creating a highly satisfied customer base. Simple or complex, we can meet any demand, and we are committed to serving our customers with the power of quality and reliability.
Experience Malindo Air with comfort and luxury. Enjoy our latest in-flight movies and games. Stay connected with the onboard Wi-Fi and power up your laptop for business usage. Indulge yourself in a delicious meal served by our friendly cabin crew. Enjoy spacious legroom and a world of in-flight games and latest movies. Stay connected with our dedicated USB port to connect your electronic device. Malindo Air, smarter way to travel.
With a legacy of over 175 years, the Times Group is today India's biggest media conglomerate, with a 360-degree presence in the world of media and reporting. An integral part of that great legacy, ET-Edge, is the conference platform of the Economic Times. It is an initiative that has been taken to create knowledge platforms across multiple industries that would connect, engage, and empower businesses.
The ET-Edge Summit is an extraordinary idea. I think it is the need of the hour. I think that this idea of talking about how to build our future is the mandate of our Prime Minister.
The basis of effective and result-oriented interaction is connecting the right people at the right time and at the right place. ET Edge provides the ideal platform for interaction and exchange of knowledge. These platforms not only serve as meeting grounds for the industry, but they also become highly motivational for the delegates and young minds.
India is a $2 trillion economy today. Can we not dream of an India with a $20 trillion economy?
By engaging minds through carefully researched modes of summits and conferences, ET Edge creates an ideal social and business ecology for the industry. To ensure that these platforms are unrivaled hubs for seeking information in the vertical they cater to, agendas for each conference are designed after extensive market research.
For smart city concept to first of all succeed, there is a need for change of mindset.
Our business is our people and people are our business. And that's really what leadership at Eureka Forbes is all about.
ET Edge engages itself to ensure that the forums would ensure senior decision makers are equipped with information to respond to challenges they face, not just in India, but also globally.
We could become the workhorse of the world, the manufacturing hub of the world, the people supplier of the world, the human resources supplier of the world at all levels.
Till today, through its summits and conferences, ET Edge has empowered industries across various sectors. The partners associated with ET Edge have a strong standing within the industries as well. With 80 plus summits, 270 plus ministers, 1600 plus speakers, 12,000 plus delegates, 1,000 plus associates and partners, ET Edge today has become the #1 meeting ground for the industry.
And India has a huge talent pool and gives us ideas, new thoughts, new possible solutions to issues that we are grappling with.
I think the delta to be made in India versus China is just extremely significant, and that's why people are coming here.
It is time for, I think, the developers lobby to come together and really push the government for a
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to begin. May I kindly urge you to get back to your seats, and we'd like to begin in just a couple of seconds. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to begin. May I please invite you back to your seats so we may begin the evening. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, a very warm welcome to the second edition of the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave right here in the city center of Kuala Lumpur. This is, of course, the second edition. I see many familiar faces, so if you're here for the second time, welcome back. And if you're here for the first time, well, you're in for a wonderful two-day session. This year, in fact, we are honored to have some very senior dignitaries, including the Union Ministers from Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, and we would like to take this opportunity to thank all of them for making time from their busy schedules being present with us here tonight. This certainly makes this second edition of the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave a truly pan-Asian gathering. So once again, a very warm welcome and good evening to all of you. My name is Jessie Chahel, and I'm indeed privileged to be your MC for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, to get things started and without much further ado, I would like to invite on stage Mr. Deepak Lamba, President, Times Strategic Solutions and CEO, Worldwide Media, to deliver the welcoming address on behalf of the Times of India Group. Mr. Lamba.
Seems to be something with the check this. Right. Very good evening, ladies and gentlemen, respected dignitaries. I feel honored to be here on behalf of the Times of India Group and the Economic Times, and I would like to extend a very warm welcome to you all to the second edition of the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave. I'd like to take a special moment to do a special thank you to the Honorable Malaysian Prime Minister, without whose patronage and support this event would not have been possible. I'd like to also take this opportunity to thank Mr. Sushil Premaya Janta, Minister of Science, Technology and Research, Sri Lanka, Mr. Amir Hussain Amu, Minister of Industries, Bangladesh, His Excellency Auk Prachaya, Vice Minister of Commerce, Cambodia, and His Excellency Charles Rose, the Ambassador of Philippines, for making time from their extremely busy schedule. It's the second edition of this very important initiative, and the encouraging participation from across Asia strengthens our confidence that the steps taken towards creating a platform to help achieve the dream of a boundaryless business in Asia has been in the right direction as we strive to take Asia to the globe through our deliberations this year. Despite protectionist rhetoric that we've been seeing across various quarters across the world, the global growth still looks positive, and it still looks towards being an upsurge in trade. That in turn would fuel stronger growth, and Asia's emerging economies will be direct beneficiaries, bolstered by their own economic reforms. With the region slowly cementing its position as one of the most lucrative ones to set up new businesses and establishing itself as the gateway to major economies of the region, there is renewed interest amongst business leaders from across the world to make their presence felt here. Additionally, the Malaysia-India connection is something a few can afford to ignore. India's Look East policy, coupled with the transformation happening in Malaysia, certainly opens up avenues to further energize the already strong trade partnership that exists between our two nations. The recent meeting of the two prime ministers further cements the intention towards both countries coming together just to make a strong impact on the region. The Asian Business Leaders Conclave, in its launch edition, had clearly established itself as the most important economic platform for candid discussions between leading business personalities, government and policy makers. With tremendous support from the Malaysian government, the conclave covered important aspects of the India-Malaysia ties, the changing equations and dynamics of ASEAN, digitization and its impact on Asian business, and the case for Asian corporates to come together to work towards establishing Asia as the silver lining in the changing world economics. The second edition of the Asian Business Leaders Conclave, being held once again under the patronage of the Honorable Malaysian Prime Minister, will see greater involvement of regional governments who are looking to come together to deliberate on the future course that Asia will take as a unit to achieve development goals and move towards not just complete economic independence, but also greater dominance in the new world order. I would encourage all of you to leverage the conclave as a business platform for advancing our collective business needs to make Asia a thriving region for trade and commerce in the world, and also help Asian companies expand their footprint on a global scale. With important issues such as tapping unexplored trade opportunities in Asia, the role of financial institutions in inclusive development of the region, the role and importance of MSMEs and its impact on the economies, and the benefits and potential challenges of digital disruption in the region, we're looking forward to a very fruitful 1.5 days interaction between the business leaders from across Asia. In conclusion, I wish you all a very successful conclave and a lot of success in your deliberations. Before I step down, I'd once again like to thank our esteemed chief guests for taking time from their busy schedules and providing us with the encouragement to take initiatives such as this forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deepak Lamba, President, Times Strategic Solutions and CEO, Worldwide Media. Ladies and gentlemen, we now move on to the next session of the evening. We're truly honored to have with us very senior government representatives from various parts of Asia to share with us their thoughts on untapped opportunities to boost intra-Asian trade. I'd like to now invite on stage firstly Mr. Susil Premajayanta, Minister of Science, Technology and Research, Sri Lanka, to present his address.
Good evening, everybody. Honorable Amir Hassan Amma, the Minister of Industries, Bangladesh, His Excellency Wok Prachia, Vice Minister of Commerce, Cambodia, His Excellency Charles Jose, Ambassador of Philippines to Malaysia, Excellencies, the President of Times Strategic Solutions, officials of Times Group, business leaders, delegates, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure speaking at this conference on the theme, Taking Asia to the Global. As a guest of honor, I observe honorable ministers, ambassadors, high commissioners, eminent business leaders have gathered here today at this inaugural session. The Economic Times have initiated this conference on the said theme, referring to 3 key areas. 1, enhancing regional economic integration agenda. 2, eliminating barriers to international trade and investment in the region. 3, giving greater impetus to the sustainable and inclusive development of Asia. Tomorrow, the ABLC 2017 team will exchange views and deliberate on the development in the Asian economy for the last year and focus attention to the challenges we are facing in the field of trade and development. In Asia, with the growing population, we as people's representatives and business leaders have a responsibility to find solutions to improve the quality of life of our people. We all as members of United Nations have to achieve SDG goals by 2030. We all have ratified the Paris Agreement on climate change. I'm happy I place my signature on behalf of Sri Lankan government, representing His Excellency President Maithripala Sirisena at United Nations headquarters in New York. In Asia, there are few developed countries, but most of the countries in this region either developing or underdeveloped countries. We have to improve our economies by using our natural resources and human resources all developed countries in the region apply high-tech and emerging technologies such as nanotechnology, biotechnology, genomics, robotics and artificial intelligence, ICT, for their economic development. They have the capacity to invest in these areas with research and development. The countries invest over 3% of GDP, are in the forefront in the field of economic development. But most of developing countries or underdeveloped countries do not have much improved private sector, and governments are not in a position to invest sufficiently in research and development. Therefore, most of these countries have to spend on importation of their basic needs, such as high-tech equipments, food items, medicine, fuel, etc. As a result, there is an imbalance in the international trade, and year by year widening the balance of trade between countries. In order to overcome these issues, these countries have to improve their exports, produce substitutes, imports, add value to export, improve quality of export by using high-tech and emerging technologies in international trade. Therefore, enhancing regional economic integration is very important. Some countries in the region restrict imports and try to improve their exports. But this is depend on availability of resources. We have to identify the barriers to international trade and investment in the region. There are trade agreements between countries and organizations. In these agreements, there are restrictions and limitations to certain items in international trading. I believe tomorrow as scheduled panel discussions, panelists and participants can focus their attention to these common issues. Giving greater impetus to the sustainable inclusive development in Asia is the third key area that we focus our attention. Sustainability and inclusiveness are popular terms. In the field of economy, the sustainability depends on availability of resources. For an example, energy sector. If you have gas or fossil fuel, your cost of production is very much lower than the countries don't have such resources. If you can improve the quality of products at low cost, then you can compete in the international market and capture it. Therefore, in the region, inclusiveness is very important. Now I'd like to focus your attention to my country, Sri Lanka. We are an island with a population of 21.4 million today. We maintain high literacy rate in the South Asian region, that is 93%. But among younger generation, it is higher than that, somewhere around 96%. We are rich in natural resources. For an example, graphite, 96% carbon content, the ilmenite, quartz, gems. Our traditional exports are tea, rubber, coconut, and spices. But our main foreign exchange earnings are remittances of our expatriate workers, especially in the Middle East countries, and export garments at the moment. In garment industry, we have to compete with other garment export countries in the international market. In Sri Lanka, high labor and energy costs are barriers in this field compared to our competitors. What we are doing at the moment is to improve quality of our product, the garment sector, by applying emerging technologies such as nanotechnology. We have started our first nanotechnology laboratory 6 years ago. We are in the process of extracting graphene out of graphite, titanium dioxide from ilmenite, add value to our natural resources and export, then we can increase our export income. We invite investors to invest in these fields and export finished product to international market and earn more foreign exchange. For an example, graphite to graphene, as I said earlier, Sri Lanka has the only major deposit of high quality, 95 to 99% carbon, green graphite. Graphite to graphene is a proven commercially viable process. Sri Lanka rupees 201 kilogram of graphite, but graphene nanopowders US dollars 495 grams. Graphene applied in medicine, electronics, light processing, energy storage, sensors, and environment. Ilmenite to nano titanium dioxide, Sri Lanka. Ilmenite has over 55% of titanium dioxide content. Ilmenite, 1 metric ton cost $200 US, but nano titanium dioxide, 1 metric ton cost 10,000 US dollars. Then quartz, nanosilica is another example. In the field of genomics, the global genomics market revenue 2015 is US dollars 12.5 billion. By 2020, it will be 19.99 billion US dollars. So we have short-term, medium-term, and long-term plan for diagnostics, the personalized medicine, genome sequencing, drug discovery, and development, farms, and Ayurveda, that is indigenous medicine. At the moment, we have nanotechnology laboratory with modern equipments. We are starting biotechnology laboratory called SlipTech. Enzyme manufacturing is another field we can earn foreign exchange. The global enzyme market revenue 2015, US dollars 8.18 billion. By 2024, it will be 17.5 billion US dollars. In this field, we focus on detergents, pharmaceuticals, food and beverage, and garments industries. There are few examples. Sri Lanka is in the process of disruptive innovation for economic development to increase high-tech exports. Sri Lanka has identified 2016 Blue-Green Development Strategy as the basis for growth. The blue means making use of oceanic resource, green means Paris commitment and action across multiple fronts to bring in a green economy. As island nation, we have 25 times more than land area in the sea. As an island nation, the green economic program we are proposing will generate growth by utilizing our much underutilized ocean resources, thereby facilitating the diversification of our economy, adopting new and sustainable technologies, especially in agriculture, fisheries, and manufacturing sectors. This will reduce environmental risks and ecological imbalances. For an example, we introduce electric and hybrid vehicles, support off-grid solar power, discourage the use of polythene and plastic, address solid waste management issues. The annual budget of 2018 introduced Blue-Green Economy, the enterprise of Sri Lanka. This will reawaken the entrepreneurial spirit coming from our Asian forefathers, enabling Sri Lanka to be a vibrant trading hub and encouraging all Sri Lankans to become co-owners of a country enriched by 2025. That is our vision. At the moment, our per capita income is US dollars 4,000. By 2020, within the next 3 years, we want to increase it up to US dollars 5,000. We expect economic growth rate from 2018 to 2020 at 6% in order to achieve this target. We have given priority to eradicate poverty by 2030. It's the goal number 1 of the SDGs. We Sri Lankans join with Asian countries, share knowledge and experience and improve our economy. As I said earlier, we all have to focus our attention to these key areas. After tomorrow deliberations, we'll be able to issue a declaration of Kuala Lumpur. As Asians, let us get together and achieve our common goals within the next few years. I take this opportunity to thank the Economic Times, the government of Malaysia, sponsors and organizations for their efforts to achieving economic development in this region. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Susil Premajayanta, Minister of Science, Technology and Research, Sri Lanka. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great privilege now to call on stage Mr. Amir Hussain Amu, Minister of Industries, Bangladesh, to present his address.
His Excellency Mr. Susil Premad, Minister Sri Lanka, Mr. O. Parvez, Vice Minister Cambodia, Excellencies, distinguished heads of the development of agencies, eminent business leaders, CEOs, technocrats, and corporate heads, members of the civil society, ladies and gentlemen, good evening. It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to be here today at the inaugural ceremony of the second edition of the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave. At the very outset, I would like to thank the Times Groups of India for organizing such a wonderful event in the beautiful city Kuala Lumpur and giving me the opportunity to share my experience in this prestigious forum. I would also like to applaud the government, private sector, experts, thought leaders, technocrats, corporate heads, academics, and other civil society members for their firm commitment towards the vision of making the ASEAN region as a hub of global economic and industrial activities. Distinguished guests, Bangladesh has come a long way since independence in 1971. We have made significant progress in areas like alleviating poverty, attaining food security, improving health and sanitation, mainstreaming gender, expanding social safety nets, and so on. Very recently, Bangladesh has graduated to lower middle income status by the ranking of the World Bank for our improved economic performance over the past decade, maintaining 6% plus GDP growth under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Bangladesh is the second fastest growing major economy of the world in 2016 with a GDP growth rate of 7.1%. During the last fiscal year, we have achieved the GDP growth 7.28%, exceeding all the previous records. Our per capita income has risen to 1,610. As a result, Bangladesh is now globally recognized as a role model for development. Ladies and gentlemen, Bangladesh sits in the heart of Asian economic power center. China, India, and the ASEAN. Bangladesh is also now an important manufacturing hub. I am happy to mention that Bangladesh is undergoing a rapid industrialization. We are now working to establish 100 economic zones in different parts of the country as part of our new plan to industrialize Bangladesh in an inclusive way. We are also developing a number of high-tech parks in order to sustain the industrialization. We will take additional steps to develop a more advanced industry and an efficient and sustainable manufacturing sector. As a result, Bangladesh is first making an economic transformation. From subsistence agriculture, it is becoming mechanized, process-oriented, diversified, and value-added economy. The manufacturing and the service sector occupy 4/5 of Bangladesh's GDP, since technology and innovation are increasingly becoming the hallmark of the present-day economic activities in Bangladesh. We have come a long way in making Bangladesh a top sourcing destination and manufacturing base by upgrading infrastructure, ensuring access to energy, transport, communication, and water, and now we are working on to ensure sustainability, access to clean, renewable energy, more energy efficient solutions, purification of water, etc., under the target of SDGs set by the UN. Our RMG sector is leading this development, but we are working on how to apply the same standards for other industrial sectors as well. By this time, Bangladesh ranked 3rd in the world in production of vegetables. We are exporting medicine to 127 countries of the world, including Europe and America. We are also exporting sheep to the major European countries. Our software industry is moving forward, aiming to be $1 billion industry within a short span of time. Our leather sector, goods and footwear, plastic, ceramic, bicycle, furniture industries are also booming. Bangladesh will make smart choices and choose solutions that guarantee worker safety, higher productivity, minimum effect on the environment, and maximum return for investors. Access to increasingly better skilled labor is strength and competitive advantage for Bangladesh. Aligning with the policy of making digital Bangladesh, we are also working for automation, which allow us to capture market shares higher and higher up in the value chain. Dear audience, Bangladesh has one of the most investor-friendly climates in South Asia. To the surprise of many, Bangladesh showed a remarkable resilience during the global economic slowdown by maintaining an almost unthinking growth under the prudent leadership of Honorable Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. Despite the recent global economic crisis, Bangladesh's consistent growth in GDP, export, and remittance clearly demonstrates the picture of substantive and pragmatic economy management. In Bangladesh, we facilitate investment by many ways. There is no discrimination between the local and foreign investors, and prevailing laws and practices fully guarantee the safe investment returns. Considering all the factors of doing business all present, Bangladesh is a unique place for investment. Our government is keen to increasing FDI, and we welcome more foreign direct investment in our booming industrial sectors, including shipbuilding and recycling, chemical fertilizers, automobile and light engineering, agro-processing, pharmaceutical, ceramic, plastic, ICT, marine resource extraction, tourism, medical equipment, renewable energy, and telecommunication. We are giving more thrust on establishment of knowledge-based high-tech industries. Our vision is to make an industrialized digital Bangladesh by the year 2021 and a rich and developed country by the year 2041. To establish the development concept, Golden Bengal, the dream of the father of the nation and the greatest Bengali of all time, Bangabandhu Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. In order to materialize our dream into reality, we have been pursuing a liberal investment and industrial policy for foreign investors with huge attractive incentive package. As a private sector-led growth economy, Bangladesh ensures a sustained, conducive business climate. The government attaches high priority to private investment, both domestic and foreign, and is committed to making substantial improvement in the existing investment climate. Our government is offering the following opportunities and incentives to the investors in order to boost FDI. Same facilities as local investors in terms of tax holiday, royalty, technical fees, etc. Allocation of land in the EPZs, industrial parks, exclusive economic zone, etc., and facilities ensured. Profit and dividends are completely transferable. Reinvested profit or dividends are considered as fresh investment. Opportunity to participate in the primary and secondary stock market. Opportunity of capital loan from the local banks. High priority sectors get priority in incentives, agriculture, food processing, RMG, ICT, pharmaceutical. Tax holiday for the small cottage and micro industries. Minimum VAT and in some cases, VAT exempt for rural micro industries of agriculture, fisheries, livestock, eco-product, and dairy. The CIP award to the NRB, who is an investor, B, a sender of foreign currency, C, an importer of Bangladeshi products from abroad. A special incentive for the industry factory with own power generating facilities and or using biomass or solar or windmill. FDI encouraged in high-tech innovative industries have potential for skill and technology transfer. Exemption from double taxation and cash incentive for participation in trade and priority sector industry. Ladies and gentlemen, we believe in regional connectivity and economic integration in order to achieve our target of sustainable growth and development. Asian nations are very close to each other because of our shared perception of international issues and our common quest for socio-economic development. The trade and other commercial relationships between Bangladesh and the rest of the ASEAN countries have same special significance. The steady diversification of relationships with Bangladesh and other Asian countries has become a natural process, and now when the perils of recession and are gradually fading away, it is imperative to bring Bangladesh and the rest of the Asian countries in the region even closer to harmless and the full potential of economic relationships. In this backdrop, I believe the arrangement of the second edition of the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave will be a milestone in strengthening trade and investment ties and partnership among the countries. Ladies and gentlemen, our common resolve is to work together for a shared prosperity of our people through mutually beneficial economic cooperation. We hope to raise our cooperation to the level of a strategic partnership in the days ahead. In closing, I would emphasize that a stronger common commitment and political will of the Asian community, backed by an appropriate framework for coordinated support, is of utmost importance in order to explore the existing potentials of emerging Asian economy and the opportunities for region has to offer. I hope that these business leaders conclave will focus on the challenges of the trade, business, and industrialization of Asian countries and come up with practical and feasible recommendations for the way forward. With these few words, I would like to conclude my remarks. Wish the conclave a grand success. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mr. Amir Hussain Amu, Minister of Industries, Bangladesh. Ladies and gentlemen, to further hear thoughts on untapped opportunities to boost intra-Asian trade, it gives me great pleasure to call on stage His Excellency Ok Precha, Vice Minister of Commerce, Cambodia.
His Excellency Susil Primacha Yantha, Minister of Science, Technology and Research of Sri Lanka, His Excellency Alha Amar Hussain Amu, Minister of Industry, Bangladesh, His Excellency, ladies and gentlemen from all business community. First of all, on behalf of the Royal Government of Cambodia, I would like to extend my knowledge and appreciation for the economic time for inviting Ministry of Commerce of Cambodia to this very candid conference, the second edition of the Economics Time ASEAN Business Leaders Conclave 2017. And also I would like to thank the government of Malaysia and the organizer for this important event. It is my honor to be in this room, which full of intellectual, innovative, and ambitious leaders from various public, private institutions who possess common will in positioning Asia at the global dynamics fulcrum as the theme of today's conference. I believe that to ensure the realization of such visionary goal, enhancing regional economic integration, eliminating barriers to international trade and investment in the region, and sharpening our focus on sustainable and inclusive development are needed through hand-on-hand collaboration from stakeholders at all levels. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, in conjunction with the theme, Cambodia as the least developed country has carefully positioned itself in its pursuit of economic growth amid global complexity, despite its voluntary to global change, such as protectionism policy, militarization, climate change, and spillover of effect of technology, and more, the country remains committed to aligning its development with the vision of Asia in promoting deeper regional integration, greater trade liberalization, and inclusive and sustainable development. By this, may Your Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to share Cambodia's experience with you all in this occasion. Cambodia became a member of WTO in 2004, the very second least developed country to join such organization, followed by Nepal. Since being part of the organization, Cambodia bears more global responsibility than it ever had. In case you are not aware of, on November 14, 2016, Cambodia was anonymously chosen as a LDC group co-organizer at the WTO for the mandate from January 2017 to February 2018 in its effort to liberalize trade and create favorable environment for business. Cambodia has ratified and already notified the Trade Facilitation Agreement, the FTA, under WTO since August 2017. In its more specific move, the country already signed a framework agreement on the facilitation on cross-border trade in Asia and part Pacific on 29 August 2017. Ministry of Commerce of Cambodia, a leading agency tasked on trade, has undertaken diligent reform to bring ease in business operation by introducing automation of business registration and online trademarks and trade postal registration. Country also put a place in historic online certification of origin, the CO application, a reform which reduced document required and the lengthened application process from 2 weeks to only 2 days. What more, the royal government established in the government-private sector forum in order to concern faced by the private investor or the businessman or heard and saw the ineffective and transparent manner. We also established workshops and seminars to promote capacity building of trader and investor in the country, established in the field of law, regulation, and also Cambodia established the Industrial Development Policy 2025 and the SME subcommittee to implement its small and medium enterprise development program. On the international plane, Cambodia ratified the Madrid Protocol on International Registration of Trademarks, the Patent Cooperation Treaty, and the Hague Agreement concern the international registration of industrial design. The country also adopted various trade-related laws, such as the law on geographical indication, law on telecommunication, law on organizing the functioning of the court, law of the animal health and animal production, law on trade union and trade remedy, and other. The e-commerce law is already draft and yet pending at the National Assembly for adoption. In addition, Cambodia has set up its national single window and national trade repository as a linkage to ASEAN platform. Excellency, ladies and gentlemen, although Cambodia has been labeled as the Olympian of Growth in 2014 and the ASEAN New Tiger Economic in 2016 by the World Bank and the ADB respectively, and despite its economic annual average growth rate of 7.7% in the last 2 decades, the country cannot detach itself from the liberalization and regionalization. The rising trend of protectionism signals a grave concern for LDC, whose economics leverage trade, especially export. The trend literally goes against Asia's dream of positioning itself central to global development. I strongly that today's conference will make our concern heard and solutions found. I'm already further more optimistic that Cambodia institutional reform, among other things, and it above mentioned achieved will constitute as experience to you all and expose Cambodia business opportunity to your awareness today. I eager look forward to hearing the learning other experience from you all. I wish the conference to be a success. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, His Excellency Ok Precha, Vice Minister of Commerce, Cambodia. Ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up that session on thoughts on untapped opportunities to boost intra-Asian trade. As we progress into the evening, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very glad to announce that amongst us seated some very accomplished senior business leaders, and they are here with us tonight to take us through and share their thoughts on taking Asia to the next level, to the globe. It gives me great pleasure to now call on stage Mr. G.M. Rao, Group Chairman of GMR Group, to share his thoughts.
Honorable Ministers of Bangladesh, Cambodia, and Sri Lanka, and other ministers, and also His Excellency, High Commissioner of India, Sri Trimurti Garu, and Datuk Dr. Jayendranji, and my friend Malvinder Singh, other distinguished guests, and leaders from the several Asian countries, and also ET team and Mr. Deepak from President of ET, my Indian colleagues and friends, media, ladies and gentlemen. A great evening to all. The previous speakers, they talked about their country, their economic development, and they're inviting to invest in India. Now, for me, today I want to speak about the topic on taking Asia to the globe. It is a great honor for me to participate in the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave here in Malaysia. I think this subject is very timely and apt subject to speak on. Though I'm not an expert, however, will share my thoughts based on my understanding and experience. Before we talk about taking Asia to the globe, we must understand the kind of socio-economic environment we are living in. Today, we are living in an interconnected, globalized world fueled by technology. There is a huge uncertainty around because of the economic interdependence of all the countries. Any incident or new development happening on the other side of the globe, we can feel the ripples here in Asia. Technology is further revolutionizing our lives. The world is at the beginning of the digital revolution. Anything and everything that can go digital is going digital at an exponential rate, faster than what you and I can imagine. Whether it is entertainment, commerce, healthcare, education, governance, life is going digital. We are all living in a technology-dominated world where these technological disruptions are changing our lives. Because of this, many successful companies are vanishing. There was a recent study which says that many Fortune 500 companies will not even exist after a few decades. It is greatly affecting our economies and the people at large. We are going through a global transformation. In the Western world, Europe is already struggling because of its multifaceted challenges of migration, large old age population, and Germany struggling with the political. France and Italy economies are in doldrums. On the other hand, Middle East going through a massive transformation triggered by the world moving from oil economy to data economy. Friends, in such type of VUCA, volatile, uncertainty, complex and ambiguous environment, taking Asia to globe will be very challenging. However, I think it is an opportunity as well as to provide a stable and collaborative platform of Asia to the world. In fact, historically, Asia had the same kind of role in the world. Let me quickly take you through the glimpse of Asian history. Some thousand years back, Asia, particularly in China and India, were contributing 70% of the total world's GDP. In the ancient times, Indian subcontinent countries, Asian countries, China were all knit together. In fact, India, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, Cambodia, Myanmar were all one country. Most of the Asian countries have similar deep-rooted family values, inherent spirituality. Maybe the forms are different, but the core is same. Historically, if you see, India and China are two of the oldest civilizations on this planet. In fact, two most widely spoken languages in the ancient times were Sanskrit and Mandarin. There was a great collaboration amongst all Asian countries in the ancient times. Scholars, businessmen, and other people traveled across the Asian countries freely with no geographical barriers. Knowledge sharing, new inventions, religious beliefs, artistic styles, languages, and social customs, as well as goods and raw materials were transmitted by them moving from one place to another. In this process, people developed emotional bonding from cultural, social, and spiritual aspects. For example, Buddhism was born in India but nurtured in China and spread to Sri Lanka, Myanmar, Central Asia, and many East Asian countries. From China, Buddhism spread to Korea and Japan. There was a tremendous knowledge sharing amongst Asian countries in astronomy, medicine, yoga, science. We were far ahead of the Western world when Europe and West 4,000 years ago was using the bow and arrow to get food, but Asia was extracting zinc from the zinc ore. Until 1543, Asia was the sole supplier of zinc to the whole world. Asia had the rust-free pillar construction knowledge in the ancient times itself. The point I'm trying to make is that in ancient time, most of the Asian countries were living like one country, collaborating among each other, and were quite advanced. The whole Asian region was very prosperous and flourishing. Today, times are different, as Asia started losing its economic dominance after 17th century. Till 17th century, India and China alone together accounted for 45% of the world's GDP. In 18th century, the economic center of the world shifted from Asia to Europe. In 19th century, it shifted to America. In the 21st century, all economists are the opinion in unison that the economic power of the world would shift back to Asia. In fact, we all have started witnessing the tilt. Since last many decades, for companies and businesses in the West, Asia has served as a factory. First it was Japan, then came countries like South Korea, Singapore and Taiwan. Finally, China made its strong presence felt by becoming a major manufacturing hub. In fact, Asian economics have benefited immensely by being part of global value chains and pushing up trade, investments, and development of regional economies. India, with its enormous intellectual power, has become the knowledge hub for the world. Almost all the multinational companies have research and development centers in India. Last 5 years, there are almost 700 R&D centers set up in India. In fact, after the Silicon Valley, India is becoming a hotbed for the innovation and startups. Asia is now a key part of the growth strategies of all the multinational companies. If you see, NASA is more than 40% of the scientists from Asia. Global market leaders and top companies like Microsoft, Google, Pepsi are all led by Indians. Japanese, Korean, and Chinese companies are acquiring companies in Europe and America. From India, for example, Tatas have been very successful in Europe by acquiring loss-making Jaguar and turning it around. Like Tata, so many Indian companies are acquiring Western companies. In my opinion, Asians have been historically so successful and distinct because of its fundamental strength of strong value-based society, demographic dividends, and spirituality. Today, we are all living in a world dominated by technological disruption, as I mentioned earlier, by virtue of which the whole world is moving from oil economy to data economy. And my dear friends, intellectual manpower for this data economy is going to come from Asia. Without Asians, Europe and America's economy going to come to a standstill. The point is that Asia will emerge in this century as the next superpower of the world. However, for Asia to become the sustain a true superpower, what is required is strong collaboration and trust among all the Asian countries, without which it will be very challenging to hold the port of superpower for long. Let me share with you my personal experience on the same. Before that, I would like to mention that Malaysia as a country holds a very special place in my life. Malaysia has provided me with a very successful long-term mutually rewarding partnership. Post-liberalization of the Indian economy, when the government came up with the development of first road project and PPP model in India, we partnered with the UEM Group of Malaysia. Similarly, first greenfield airport development and PPP model in India, we partnered with the Malaysian airports. Subsequently, when we first entered into MRO business, we partnered with the Malaysian Airlines. And for our flight training academy at Hyderabad Airport, we have partnered with Malaysian Flight Training Academy. We also partnered with Petronas for our power plant in Singapore Island Power. The latest is Malaysian largest electricity utility, Major Tanega, coming as strategic partner GMR Energy. Thus, we have been able to create a landmark national assets with these great partnerships with the Malaysian companies. Coming back to the importance of collaboration, I mentioned earlier, GMR Group, when first forayed into infrastructure after economic liberalization in India, we came across the opportunities of first greenfield Hyderabad Airport development on PPP model. It was like a blue ocean, first for the country, first for the industry, first for GMR. We partnered with the Malaysian airports to get the know-how of airports and together successfully delivered one of the best airports in the world. After Hyderabad, together we built Delhi International Airport, which is again ranked as the best airport in the world in the category. When you take note, Delhi Airport 2006 is the 10th worst airport in the airport. Today we are the #1 airport in the world in service standard. Later and together we built at Istanbul Sabiha Gökçen Airport in Turkey in world record times in 18 months. Few years back, we collaborated with another Asian company, Megawide in Philippines, to develop Cebu International Airport. With these learnings, we went to Europe and won rights for development of Greenfield Crete Airport in Greece. With the learnings from our Asian partners, today GMR Group amongst the top 4 private airports operated in the world. Now we are going to beat on 8th December Belgrade in Siberia Airport. Out of 27 people, we have 5 people selected. Out of that, GMR also won one of the positions. 8th, we are participating in Belgrade. The design, built, own the airport. My dear friend, the journey which I started with a practically zero knowledge of airports in India is today one of the most admirable airports operator in the world. And one of the major reasons for this success is strong collaboration and learning from our Asian partners. Such is the transformational impact at one corporate level. I'm sure you could imagine the huge impact on the planet if all the Asian countries come together and collaborate for the betterment of everyone. I'm very confident that no one will be able to stop Asia arising into world power. The whole world will look onto us. However, the Asian leaders should be very alert, consult, learn from each other, and conscious of right economic reforms. We have somehow sailed through the Asian financial crisis of 1997 with the help of the International Monetary Fund. I think we should have more of Asian financial institutions which should work aggressively, focusing only on Asian development and growth. In this regard, establishment of new development bank by BRICS is welcome. However, a lot more needs to be done by our Asian leaders. Our leaders should promote mutual trust and frictionless trade among Asian countries. This is the right time that our leaders should put their fast behind and come together to work and collaborate. The most important economic and political challenge now is to continue to encourage constructive processes that have brought the region this far and temper any obstacle to further progress. India and China has emotional connect, but China and Japan and Korea have deep emotional differences. Asian leaders should forget their past and needs to be emotionally connect together to make the whole Asia as developed part of the world. Only if leaders of these countries come together, forgetting the past, meet frequently, streamline and sort out the emotional issues, we can easily surpass the West. Lastly, I would like to say that Asian companies should learn from Western multinationals as how they are successfully running generation after generations. If you see in the developed Western countries, most of the big multinational companies like IBM, Ford, Walmart, Bechtel, Cargill, BMW are family-owned businesses running successfully generation after generation. They are contributing significantly in the economic development of their respective countries. However, we Asians, we are tremendous entrepreneurs. Then also we are unable to create big multinationals because of the lack of family governance. For Asian family businesses to sustainably grow generation after generation, become multinational companies, family governance is must. Family governance is a first step towards corporate governance. In the families, firstly in Asian families, one son fighting and brothers are fighting, they are focusing on the fight and the disputes, and most of the businesses, they are going to the big problem in the family governance. Family governance is very critical for the long-term sustainable economic development of our respective countries. With this, I would like to conclude and extend my gratitude to Economic Times for giving me this wonderful opportunity to participate in this conclave. I hope that the 2 days of Asian Business Leaders Conclave will provide a great platform in stimulating the ideas, thoughts as to how Asia can come together to achieve a much bigger purpose. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. G.M. Rao, Group Chairman, GMR Group. Ladies and gentlemen, it's undeniable. Asia is a mighty force, a true powerhouse, and she's not done extending her wings. To hear more on taking Asia to the globe, please help me now welcome on stage Mr. Malvinder Singh, Executive Chairman, Frontis Healthcare.
Very good evening to all of you, ministers and excellencies from different countries in Asia, our very own Indian High Commissioner, sir, senior business people from Asia and also from Malaysia, and Economic Times, friends from the media. I think, as all of us know, 60% of the world's population lives in Asia. That is, a little over 4.3 billion people live in Asia. Over the last many decades, favorable demographic mixes have certainly been a huge advantage for us as Asian nations. But in order to continue to move ahead and propel that growth, it's imperative that our populations remain healthy and our people are productive in order to maximize our national GDP growth. Multiple Asian economies have rapidly grown, and the socio-economic growth has brought about significant all-round development, decade after decade within Asia. But unfortunately, with this development also comes a series of lifestyle diseases, non-communicable diseases, making people susceptible to such chronic ailments. In order to sustain the growth in Asia and make it a global powerhouse even stronger than where it is today, we need to collectively fight these chronic diseases, these non-communicable diseases, and if not done successfully, they will have a very significant impact on our economic development as we continue to move forward. When it comes to the healthcare models, different Asian countries have had distinctive and varied healthcare models with significant differences in their financing and the management of the healthcare sector. The healthcare systems across the world have continuously struggled to reconcile with three competing objectives, that of accessibility, quality, and cost. As we move forward, we need to continue to work towards improving the reach and access of healthcare, optimize quality and efficiency, and enhance the quality of care. I think for each of us who are in the healthcare business, providing high quality healthcare, ensuring it's accessible to people in urban and rural areas, and also to optimize cost in order to make sure it's affordable to people, becomes foremost in each of our minds as we continue to deliver healthcare to our people. However, in the coming decades, we will see huge shifts in the way healthcare will be envisioned. Shifts from hospital care to home care, illness to wellness, patient-centric to consumer-centric, and healthcare to being living healthy. The focus will largely be to keep people away from hospitals through preventive and preemptive care. I think for each of us over the last few years, I'm sure each of us have recognized and realized that we are spending more time being far more conscious about our health, about the way we eat, about the way we live, about the stress that we have in our respective lives, and how we are trying to maintain a more healthier lifestyle than probably what we've done in the past. All of these things will certainly ensure that the times ahead for the healthcare industry will be exciting, but also very challenging. I think what is really important for us as we move ahead over the next few decades and continue to propel the Asian economies to be a far more stronger global base in terms of not only the consuming part of the 4.3 billion people that we have, but also from a manufacturing and a service perspective, would be of how healthy and how productive our 4.3 billion people in Asia are. And as we move forward, I certainly believe that we would need to do a lot more work in terms of evolving frameworks for collaboration and partnership between various Asian countries to collectively combat the demographic, technological, and the disease challenging arises from an inadequate accessibility, affordability, and quality of care that's truly required for us in Asia to serve the 4.3 billion people that we have. I'm also happy to share with you that as a part of the India-Malaysia CEO Forum that's been there now for 7 years, the forum has worked closely between India and Malaysia to be able to forge many alliances and partnerships in the area of healthcare and have put that as a significant, important area of how our two countries and the businesses can work together. It's also important that we create a framework to allow free flow of doctors and nurses across national boundaries in order to be able to build and leverage upon their capability, human capacity from a medical talent perspective. I think today the regulations across many of our countries limit free flow and ease mobility in terms of having medical talent go where it's most required. Technology can certainly be the single biggest enabler to allow countries in Asia to leapfrog into the future. There are significant opportunities that lie in leveraging telemedicine for primary care, for centralized diagnosis, for eICUs for critical care, and also for remote monitoring of patients in rural areas where the infrastructure and the healthcare facilities may not be of the quality and caliber that it would be in many urban cities and centers. The transformation of healthcare systems and improved healthy outcomes globally have been primarily characterized by the crucial role played by new and improved technologies. I think artificial intelligence, which is being used increasingly across all industries, is also something which is used excessively in the West. Over the years, I certainly believe that artificial intelligence, robotics, would play a very critical role in how we are engaging with the healthcare systems, how we are getting treated, how the level of accuracy will consistently go up. And I believe with a significantly high quality of care that we provide in Asia, but at a fraction of the price points that are delivered in America and in Europe, this certainly provides a huge opportunity for us in Asian countries, countries like Malaysia, India, Thailand, Singapore, for being the global hub of medical tourism. So not only do we have a large population base to take care of and to keep healthy, but also there is a huge amount of business opportunity where we can truly, Asian countries, can truly become the hub for treating the world, for keeping the world healthy. And I think that opportunity for providing high quality care at an affordable price point is really the Asian advantage and our strength. Tomorrow, clearly, I think the wearable devices, handheld devices, artificial intelligence will be playing a very significant role of how we live our lives. And I know, and I can see many of you totally glued to your gadgets like many of us are on a daily basis because we are so used to our mobile devices. But in the future, we will be doing that a lot more, not only for messaging, for sharing information and photographs and emails, but more so in terms of monitoring and tracking our health to ensure that we are healthy, and for those of us who may need treatment, that we are effectively taking care and consuming the medicines we need to, getting the tests done we need to, and somewhere in that electronic cloud up there, there will be artificial intelligence tracking and monitoring anything and everything that we do in order to keep us healthy and to keep us away from hospitals. As we move forward, certainly, I think close cooperation, connectivity, seamless linkages, and sharing of co-location in terms of infrastructure between business, between governments, will certainly play an important role of how we evolve a more healthy society amongst ourselves. The public, private, government, and academia should certainly increase the level of collaboration and work towards ensuring that we are focused on wellness, and in terms of treatment, we are focused on bringing efficiency, high quality, and ensuring reach and access to every single person around in the world. There is a lot that can be done to put a right regulatory and a right policy framework, which will certainly enable our society to remain healthy, and more importantly, with a healthy society, we'll have a productive society, and with that, I'm sure we will have a greater share of global business and trade. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Malvinder Singh, Executive Chairman, Fortis Healthcare. Ladies and gentlemen, we've heard from government dignitaries and successful business leaders. The time has come now to appreciate perhaps the softer yet stylish side of business. Therefore, it gives me great pleasure to introduce this next interesting and important session entitled The Business of Creativity. You simply must help give a huge round of applause as we welcome on stage a star amongst us. Renowned filmmaker and social activist from India, Ms. Shabana Azmi. As well as Mr. James Law, founder, James Law Cybertecture from Hong Kong. And both to be in conversation with Ms. Tanya Bhardwaj, Senior News Editor, ET Now. It's over to you, Tanya.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for taking time out for us. I promise the next 20, 30 minutes is going to be completely worth your while. I'm going to start right in then. Thank you, James and Shabana. Thanks so much. Let's start by establishing what we're talking about over the next 25 minutes, which is the business of creativity. Shabana, let me ask you first. Are those two mutually exclusive? Is business of creativity an oxymoron? Oftentimes, is it business versus creativity?
You know, I think it's a very relevant question today, because for a long time it has been believed that creativity doesn't need to marry economics at all, that creativity in itself is such a worthwhile exercise and so important for a society's health and well-being that it really shouldn't concern itself with business. I grew up in a family that believed art should be used as an instrument for social change. My father was a very well-known Urdu poet, my mother's an actress, and that's the kind of atmosphere I grew up in. But in today's day, I think it would be a folly to treat it as an oxymoron. I think it's the demand of the day that we use creativity and business together to enhance creativity rather than look at it as an oxymoron. The world is fast changing. I'm in the business of films, and it's happening at a breathtaking pace, and everything is being monetized. And I think it would be wonderful if we marry the two, not one at the cost of the other.
Okay. Actually, James, that's a great segue, you know, to bring you in, because that is something you at Cybertecture have very effectively managed to do. Through your out-of-the-box sort of creative ideas, you've given some very viable solutions for the affordable housing space in Hong Kong. So what would your, you know, take be on how creativity can be just as effective, you know, a commercial consideration?
Thank you. So as an architect, creativity is at the core of our business. And especially now in the 21st century, whatever we design and build or whatever we produce as a business is really judged on its creativity to solve problems. And what we call cybertecture is at the heart of our philosophy to embrace as much creativity empowered through technology, innovation, and knowledge that we can. And I really believe that in the 21st century, every business must be powered by creativity, because the rate of change in the market, in the world, in society requires, whether you're an architect or a trader or an economy or a society, to embrace creativity in order to bring a better outcome for your people.
Good evening, Mr. Prime Minister. Okay, we were talking about the business of creativity, and Jabana, I also want to ask you...
Excuse me, Tanya, I'm so sorry, the Prime Minister has arrived. We might have to wrap up this session, so we will do so now and announce the arrival of the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia. I think we'll have to announce his arrival right now. He's already waiting for us. We'll continue this session later. Prime Minister, sir, would you like them to wrap up? 5 minutes?
Maybe you can join us.
Sure, no problem. Please continue. I'm sorry about that.
So we were talking about creativity, and Jabana, I wanted to ask you, over the years, how has creativity changed? And I also want you to bring to the table the personal aspect. Let's say when you were taking up a role, right? How much of, is there an internal battle? Is there a thin line that you have to tread about keeping the fact that you want your creativity and your creative instincts to be sort of, fulfilled, but at the same time, you're also thinking, is this movie going to make money? Is it going to be, worth it for all the stakeholders?
In that sense, cinema is different from, let's say, painting or the fine arts, because all you would need to spend, apart from your time and energy and creativity, for the canvas and the paints, which is hardly anything. But with film, it involves a lot of money. So you can't disregard the fact that once you make a film, you hope at least that the film will be able to recover enough money that you will be able to make a film again. So that consideration, I think, separates cinema from all the other arts. When I started, because I came from the family that I did, I was very concerned about the fact that we wanted to say something new, and at that time, what is now referred to as parallel cinema was very new, and the way we managed to make it happen is by controlling the budgets. You see, when you are working for, there's a difference between creativity and innovation. Okay, there's definitely, and when you're talking about satisfying your creative urge, when it comes to cinema, then you have to be very careful to see that you keep the budgets under control so that the experiment that you're making, the risks become less.
James, I want us to maybe talk about something that everyone in this room who effectively runs a business must be wondering. How do I encourage creativity? And also at a time when machine learning, artificial intelligence, it threatens to take over most of our jobs. So, how are we going to fight that?
I don't think we should be fighting that. I think I can creatively make a prediction. As I look around this room, every single one of you, your businesses will either be extinct or change, and certainly your societies will change within the next 5 to 10 years. Nurturing the creativity within your company, within your people, within your development of technology and embracing it is the only way in which you can upgrade your business into something that can thrive in the 21st century. Embracing artificial intelligence, new ways of designing smart cities, smart buildings, developing new business models. These are at the heart of what every one of you and us here must embrace if we are going to survive and thrive. So I believe we shouldn't be afraid. There is no need to be afraid that human beings are going to be designed out of the system because we are the designers ourselves, but more that we should embrace the opportunities to find those new potentials that we can make through our technology and our creativity, the new businesses for the future.
So just leave us, all of us here in the room with maybe 2 or 3 things that business owners, CEOs can do to inculcate that in their employees.
I'm so sorry to jump in here once again. I think we might need to wrap up this session right now, ladies and gentlemen.
Right? Just once. No? Okay,
we really need to officially welcome our Honorable Prime Minister, who's so gracefully joined us tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, may we all please be upstanding to welcome the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak. Thank you, sir, for being with us here. Thank you for joining us tonight. Thank you as well to our panelists, Ms. Shabana Azmi, Mr. James Lowe, as well as Tanya Bhattwaj. I'd like now to invite on stage Mr. Deepak Lamba, President, Times Strategic Solutions and CEO of Worldwide Media, to welcome officially the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia on behalf of the Times of India Group.
On behalf of the Times of India Group and the Economic Times, it's an honor for me personally to welcome our chief guest, Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, Datuk Seri Najib bin Tun Haji Razak, for the 2nd edition of the Asian Business Leaders Conclave in Kuala Lumpur tonight. With tremendous support from the Honorable Prime Minister last year, we launched this important initiative with the truly strong belief that Asia is set to take charge of the global economic progress. And it's very important for countries from various parts of Asia working towards establishing Asia as the most preferred business destination in the world. We also witnessed a very successful visit by the Prime Minister to India in April this year. Apart from Delhi, he also took time to visit Chennai and Jaipur. During the visit, the Prime Minister of India and Malaysia took several discussions to propel our strategic partnership forward in a range of areas, including security and counterterrorism, economic and investment relationships, tourism, and other important areas, such as education and Indian traditional medicine. As you're aware, the Prime Minister of Malaysia has been the architect of the strategic partnership with India, forged in 2010 between Malaysia and India. While the visit of the Prime Minister in April this year came in the context of the 60th anniversary of our establishment of diplomatic relations, we are delighted that His Excellency will be visiting India again in January next year to participate in the India-ASEAN Special Commemorative Summit in New Delhi and witness our Republic Day parade. Given our shared heritage with all ASEAN countries in celebrating the 25th anniversary of India's engagement with Asia, allow me to commend the leadership of the Prime Minister in steering Malaysia successfully in the face of economic sluggishness around the world, especially with the steep fall in oil prices and commodity prices, and for also successfully implementing the GST. I might add, we've taken a leaf or two out of your book when we've tried to implement the same back home. I'm heartened to hear that Malaysia's GDP growth last quarter was 6.2%, underlining the strong fundamentals of the Malaysian economy. As rightly pointed out by the Honorable Prime Minister in his recent visit to India, both Malaysia and India have always been trading nations, outward-looking and keen to forge friendships with our neighbors and partners in the region. Asia continues to grow, and efforts to foster closer economic integration will position us well for the future. The regional economic outlook for Asia and the Pacific estimates for growth for the region this year are at about 5.5%, which is up from 5.3% in 2016, and we believe that growth will remain strong at 5.4% in 2018 as well. So this region continues to be the leader for global growth. We're thankful for and look forward to the continued support from the Malaysian government for our continued efforts in this region. And we would once again like to acknowledge the tremendous support that we have received as we continue to take greater strides in establishing the Asian Business Leaders Conclave as the most preferred destination for business and policy related deliberations in this region. At the end, I'd like to thank you once again for taking time out from your busy schedules to join us, and I truly wish that you all have a very enriching 1.5 days of sessions in front of us. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Deepak Lamba. Ladies and gentlemen, we now have to hear from a very important person amongst us. Please put your hands together as we welcome on stage the Honorable Prime Minister of Malaysia, Yang Amat Berhormat Datuk Seri Najib Tun Razak, to deliver his keynote address.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and a very good evening. Excellencies, High Commissioner, Mr. Deepak Lamba, President, Times of India Group, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is a great pleasure to address the second edition of the Economic Times Asian Business Leaders Conclave. We launched the inaugural event last year here in Kuala Lumpur, and I'm delighted it is now becoming an annual event to be hosted by Malaysia. I'm all the more pleased that we have with us here today government and business leaders from across Asia, and I'm looking forward to the exchange of ideas I'm sure we will have. This event has become a platform for connectivity beyond India and Malaysia, to also cover ASEAN and South Asia, and I hope that it will continue to expand in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, the links between Malaysia and South Asia are strong and enduring. In the years since 1998, India has been Malaysia's largest export destination in the South Asian region, and over the last decade or so, trade has increased by more than fourfold. India is currently Malaysia's 10th largest trading partner, our 7th largest export destination, and our 11th largest source of imports. India is also currently Malaysia's 20th largest investor, with total investment worth $2.31 billion. Malaysia, meanwhile, is ranked as the 21st largest foreign investor in India and the 2nd largest from ASEAN. The visit of Prime Minister Modi to Malaysia in November 2015, as well as my own visit to India last April, have brought about a qualitative change in our relations. After my visit this year, we commemorated the 60th anniversary of India-Malaysia diplomatic relations and hailed the strong bonds of friendship forged through many shared historical, cultural, and social ties between our two countries and their peoples. The strategic partnership established between our two countries in October 2010 has built upon the traditionally close relationship and taken it to the next level by infusing it with even greater dynamism. Malaysian entrepreneurs and companies are now engaged in taking advantage of the huge economic and investment opportunities in India, particularly in infrastructure. And we are active in many Indian states, including Rajasthan, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Maharashtra, and Tamil Nadu. On a personal note, may I add that I have now had the pleasure of visiting Chennai both in 2010 and 2017, where I had the opportunity to interact with the leadership of Tamil Nadu, as well as with the popular Tamil screen idol, Rajinikanth. And I hope Mr. Rajinikanth will visit us soon. Ladies and gentlemen, it is also relevant to mention here the vital role that Malaysian Indians have played in building our country. Indian Malaysians have always been at the forefront of governance, our civil service, business, entertainment, education, and of course food, which, as you may know, is very important to Malaysians. They are a crucial part of our unique diversity, and their cultures and faiths help make up the rich and varied tapestry of our nation. Many races and religions, but one Malaysia. Recognizing their contribution, we launched the Malaysian Indian Blueprint earlier this year, and I'm confident that this 10-year plan will play a key role in empowering all sections of the Indian community in Malaysia. I can truly say that without Malaysian Indians, Malaysia simply would not be what it is today, and they constitute a very special reason why it is so natural for our two countries to forge ever closer and friendlier relations. Ladies and gentlemen, our countries and our peoples have much in common. We are firm on the need to maintain regional security and to fight the scourges of terrorism and extremism. We have both shown our commitment to regional and multilateral forums through being members of the United Nations, the Non-Aligned Movement, Commonwealth, the Group of 15, and the Group of 77, plus China, the Indian Ocean Rim Association, and the East Asia Summit. While through ASEAN, we also enjoy a free trade area with India. We are also two economies on the move. Both countries have had years of healthy growth. We just recorded 6.2% GDP growth for the third quarter of 2017, and our economic transformation program has seen 2.26 million jobs created since 2010, inflation kept low, and gross national income increased by nearly 50%. Malaysia ranks in the top 25 in the World Bank Ease of Doing Business report, and I'm happy to note that India has leapfrogged 30 places this year in the index. Our congratulations. We also share a belief in confronting and making the tough decisions, such as implementing GST. We introduced our version in 2015, while India introduced their version earlier this year. India and Malaysia have joined the more than 160 countries around the world that are implementing this effective, efficient, transparent, and business-friendly tax. And we have seen its benefits, for it provided us with the resilience necessary to cope with the steep fall in the price of oil and a subsequent drop in revenue that we received. In fact, I shudder to think what would happen to the Malaysian economy had we not introduced GST. Malaysia is India's gateway to ASEAN and beyond. And when we conclude the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, or RCEP, both our countries will be part of an area that contains nearly 50% of the world's population and account for 40% of global trade. So both our countries are not just prepared, but also determined to take Asia to the globe, to quote the theme of this conclave. Ladies and gentlemen, before I conclude, allow me to welcome once again the business leaders from all over Asia who have gathered here. If this is an Asian or the Asian century, and I do believe that Asia is the engine of growth of our time, then may I say that there is no better place to meet than Malaysia. I'm confident that your deliberations over today and tomorrow will not only forge closer ties between the huge variety of business communities represented here, but also serve to strengthen the strong linkages between Malaysia and India and the rest of Asia. I hope you enjoy the rest of the program. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honourable Prime Minister, sir. May I please request for you to remain on stage as we now invite Mr. Deepak Lamba as well as His Excellency T.S. Tirumurti to join you on stage, sir, for a round of felicitations. This is a special round of felicitations. We'd like to observe this, of course, being one of the highlights for tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, a very important focus this year is the business of creativity and innovation, which we strongly believe will go a long way in cementing Asia's strong position across the globe. The Economic Times would like to introduce the special segment of honoring a power couple from Asia every year. In this year's forum, to begin with, we are extremely honored to have amongst us Ms. Shabana Azmi, eminent film actor and activist, with us here tonight. Please, a round of applause for her. This recognition, ladies and gentlemen, is for Mr. Javed Akhtar as well as Ms. Shabana Azmi for their exemplary contribution to the world of entertainment and creativity, not just in India, but across Asia. Unfortunately, Mr. Akhtar could not join us tonight because of some health issues, but nonetheless, ladies and gentlemen, Ms. Shabana Azmi right here on stage with us, the epitome of elegance and beauty. I know women across Asia long to be just like her. So once again, let's put our hands together and give her a glorious round of applause as she receives this recognition as the Economic Times Power Couple Asia. Thank you so much, Ms. Shabana Azmi. Thank you. From creativity to, please remain on stage, sir. From creativity to business, the Economic Times would like to continue the tradition of recognizing the most influential leaders in Asia, who through their efforts have made sure that Asian businesses meet and exceeds the global standards, and we are proud to have some of these leading business personalities with us here tonight. Please, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a huge round of applause as we welcome on stage, firstly, Mr. Malvinder Singh, Executive Chairman, Fortis Healthcare, India. Next, we'd like to call on Mr. G.M. Rao, Group Chairman, GMR Group, India. Next, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to call on a man who's taught us all to fly, not just to fly, but fly high. Tan Sri Tony Fernandez, Group CEO, Air Asia, Malaysia. And we've heard from many men today, but also amongst us is a leading lady, Larissa Tan, CEO, Vanda Electric, Singapore. Thank you very much. Mr. Prime Minister, sir, just one last request for you to remain on stage as Mr. Deepak Lamba and His Excellency T.S. Tirumurthy present you with a small token of gratitude for your support and effort of being here with us tonight and gracing this event. Once again, thank you very much for your presence here. Thank you very much, Honorable Prime Minister, Mr. Deepak Lamba, and Your Excellency. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, one last big round of applause. I believe it's been a wonderful, successful evening. The Prime Minister's presence here with us tonight shows Malaysia's commitment towards building Asia to be a powerhouse. Ladies and gentlemen, with that, we come to the end of the proceedings for the inaugural day of the second edition of the Asian Business Leaders Conclave. We will meet here again tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. onwards for a power-packed day with interesting discussions. I would like to now invite all of you to join us outside for cocktail reception as well as dinner. Have a pleasant evening ahead. Thank you and good night.